you source locally or online? So Christy asked this question on Instagram. Um, I source locally and online because you source wherever you can and you source however you can. The thing to look for is who are you sourcing from and which one gives you the best return for your time. For example, with Hot Wheels cars, I can go to thrift stores and dig through tubs of toys. I mean, collections of toys get brought to thrift stores all the time. I can also then go onto the salvos online. So if you think about, there's the op shop, and most op shops or thrift stores have their own online place. So I can go down that rabbit hole and source from their online stores as well. That's one option. I can go to the shops, the retail stores, and buy Hot Wheels brand new off the pegs, and do the old retail arbitrage thing because I know which cars are sought after. So I can go down that route, and then I can also buy online and do online exclusives. I can source directly from Mattel if I want to. I stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning to buy things, buy all the limited edition stuff, right? As the young people say, cop the limited release, right? I can cop all these limited release things, pick them up for 30, sell for 100, different windows as they get released. And then I can go to Facebook Marketplace or Gumtree and buy stuff directly from collectors, buy collections from houses, right? Those are the three areas. The difference that I see is who determines what I get to buy. So in the manufacturer situation, the manufacturer determines what's available. So even though all the stock might be in the shop, it's randomly allocated, which means that I'm still hunting randomly. There's no curation there, there's just stock. In the op shop situation, the stock is somewhat curated by the person who bought the stuff. But I don't know who that person is. All I know is that random person whom I don't know has brought stuff to an op shop where the curation has been messed up, or where their curation has been combined with someone else's curation. A collector's toy cabinet, a kid's toy chest, a grandparent's rubbish box of toys have all been bundled together, and now this mess of cars is up to the op shop employee, who probably knows nothing about it, to pick 5 of the best things to put into a bag and put a price on it. So that's already messed up, right? So in that sense, even if they save the best for online, it is still put together by someone who knows nothing of the category, which is why I still prefer buying from Marketplace, because I can tell if a collection of cars has been, when I say collection, I just mean when a quantity of cars has been curated by a collector or someone with consistent taste. So I'm going to go pick up the 300 cars today, and I know that for the $1 that I pay per car, I'll probably get $6 to $8 back on a car. Because looking at the collection, it stands to reason that should expand to the rest of the items that I pick up. And to get that quantity via the op shop or the retail route is significantly less efficient. So that's how I work out where I source. And clearly, someone like Toby who buys like t-shirts, someone like Justin does cards, or Debbie if you do random things. Dave, I think you do media. Like depending on the category, which route you choose will be different, because you're really wanting to get the best selection for your effort. Much prefer the cherry pick items from op shops rather than having to deal with the general media from bulk lots. Very rare to find a good collection. Yeah, it's interesting. Hey, but also maybe location, because some people will get really good collections from obscure locations if you just happen to live there. Like I think about all the rural, semi-rural people who are able to find collections of books, DVDs, vinyl, things that have not been dug through, stuff that's like original collector, never been cycled through. Like I remember picking up Thomas Trains. Okay, this is my experience with that. Was there was a collection of Thomas Trains that was stored in those I want to say folio drawers, but I don't think that's the right word. They're those like those drawers that you store maps in, like the plan drawers that are like this thick, and then they're two-handle drawers. This guy had something like 600 Thomas trains, and he collected them from back in like 1989 or 1990, like back when the trains were not glued and they were stapled in from the bottom. And he had meticulously dated every single train, and it was a full collection. And the guy wanted something like he wanted $6,000 on eBay for it, local pickup only. And of course, the reason nobody saw the listing is because nobody is looking for a $6,000 collection of trains on eBay. Only the real collectors noticed it, but none of them were willing to pay that kind of money or buy it because their collections were pretty stacked as it is. So then I get messages from the real collectors going, "Are you going to pick up this collection? Because there's a piece in there that I want." So now I'm now the broker, right? I watched this collection go from 6,000 to 3,000, and eventually the guy puts shipping on there, but he puts $50 of shipping because he doesn't know what he's doing. Long story short, I pick up the collection for 3,000, and we split the shipping because that was the negotiation because he had quoted the shipping wrong. The collection, but the only reason I got my hands on that collection was because it was in a weird location in Western Australia. I was willing to pay for the courier to come. He had put it on a platform where nobody local would even see it to begin with, and everybody else who wanted it didn't really want the whole thing. I got the benefit of flipping that and slowly letting it go. But I think that that's where location is so important. You can be in some locations where sourcing a certain way is not rewarding at all, whereas that same way in a different location, super rewarding because, like for example, if I go to a weird location in Western Australia, I would probably not thrift. I'd probably do estate sales only and buy big collections because I reckon that would be my purest form of inventory, rather than a thrift store that doesn't have much turnover, where people only go to throw, because most people there have time. They're not time poor. In the city, on the other hand, I'm probably likely to get my B grade, C grade inventory, probably not A grade inventory, B grade, C grade inventory regularly if I go every single day to the thrift store because people are time poor, but they have a lot of disposable income, right? So that's something. Knowing where you live, the demographic, knowing the things they value will very much, I guess, dictate where's your purest source of inventory. One of my favorite demographics to buy toy cars from are motorheads, people who have, or quote unquote, grease monkeys, people who, when you go and collect a car, they have an actual car in their driveway that they're working on because they constantly need money. Like they'll have all these cars on display, and then when they want a quick buck, they'll get rid of all these like carded cars for cheap. So these, for example, I sold for, how much did I sell these for? So these two cars sold for $59.90 plus shipping. I paid $5 each. They normally retail for $13. But came from a guy who's working on a Dodge Challenger in his driveway. And also, usually people who are working on their cars also look after their stuff. So there's that as well. Janelle saying, I think it's true. In regional areas, there are collections that have not been picked through. I find this a lot, but it's also being online at the right moment when they're advertised for sale. Yes. I wonder, right, with small towns, if there is if there's a rumor mill of people who know where all the collections are, because there's I'm guessing with pub culture, or in Asian communities is mahjong culture, where rich people have golf culture, who has this car, who has this collection. If you have cooking, baking circles, people will know, right, who has the collection of pots and pans that are good for this particular recipe. Like there's a certain, what's the word? Intelligence that's kind of floating around, like intel. That's kind of like, oh, so I do wonder whether those who know are waiting kind of like how you have it's like the old school version of a safe search on eBay, where you know who has the bottle cap collection, you know who has the glass collection, right? You know who has that car that the moment it goes on the, if you sense that, like if you sense that Dave's gonna put his Holden Monaro for sale, like potentially because he's got bills coming up, you might go slide up next to him at the pub and be like, hey, cool car. Like, can I look after it for you? Do you need a hand? Like things like that, hoping to maybe be the next owner of the thing. Because there must be an explanation for why collections in regional areas disappear so quickly. I feel like there are people who keep tabs on these things, whether for resale reasons or otherwise. It would not surprise me if you asked people locally, hey, is there a collection? Is there a local collection or something that you put your eyes on, and just kind of see what you get back. Hubby has cars out front of our house that the local garages talk about, and we regularly get knocks at the door asking if they are for sale. There you go! There you go! Justin saying there are 4 people I know, including myself, that get contacted if car collections become available in rural locations because they don't have a car shop close by to sell to. That's awesome! By the way, if you want to have the benefit of being contacted when things become available, the first step is to tell people what you do. You'll be surprised how many people do not want to have to deal with others. Like the number of times parents at school have said to me, you sell toys, right? We're trying to clear our toy collection. I'll send you some photos. That way I don't have to give my address to 4 or 5 different people. That's a real concern. Not everybody wants to make the time to be home when somebody comes to inspect things. They'd much rather just sell to one person and be done with it. So don't underestimate that method of sourcing. The other way to get stock is to join a group like Doing Deals Down Under. And that's usually when people want to get rid of their stock. Once again, you may not get a good deal if you may not think you're getting a good deal because you're buying from a reseller already. But once again, depends on the story, right? If somebody wants to get out of the business quickly, if somebody has to get out of the business quickly, they're not going to be fussy about the pricing. More often than not, they just want to get their money back. And as you know, in reselling, getting your money back, it's not a hard thing to do. Because most resellers, well, at least the good ones, we buy well anyways. So if I want to get all my money back on my cars, right, I'll just do $1 a car. If I sell every single car for $1 a car, I'll liquidate my whole store in a week. Because that's a good deal for anybody, whether it's a reseller or someone wanting to buy cars. And there's a good chance I'm going to bundle them in such a way that whoever buys my cars will probably get a good collection and be happy with what they've paid for. It's as if I've chosen for them as if they would have chosen for themselves. So that's another way to get stock. Joining a group where people are looking to just liquidate and move on. Another way, and this one might be a bit trickier and probably a bit more ballsy, is to actually join collector groups of buyers. So far we've talked about being a seller to people who want to sell to you, then going to seller groups and buying from sellers. And then there's going to collector groups and saying, hey guys, I actually sell these things. If you're looking to liquidate them, let me know. You might cop a bit of flack from other collectors, but guess what? If you do it in a respectful sort of way, you don't go tit for tat in the comments with those collectors who go scalper, fuck off, things like that. We've just sworn on the live, which means this thing will probably be censored or be like a not for kids. Anyways, I digress. So then you have to just kind of be calm and go, this is what I do. There will be people who will remember your name and they will come and contact you when they want to sell, and they'll probably message you privately because they'll go to the Facebook group and search for sells, card seller or toy seller or whatever, and your post will pop up. Especially if you're respectful, admin won't take your post down. A lot of groups, admins don't care if you've posted. You're there facilitating a sale, and if you build up a good name, eventually all that stuff in the past gets forgotten. So that's another good way of being able to get stock. I think Justin, you do that in the groups, in the collector groups as well. Like they know you're the seller, so they do approach you once you say, "Hey, this is what I do." Another way to get stock for you is by actually joining a community of people that you trust, like our online Discord community, for example. Get on there, go into the Hangout. We have this thing called a Hangout where you can do voice chats. Janelle, Justin, Toby, Jody, they're all on there. Essentially, when you do some work, you want to have a chat with someone, you hop on, turn on your mic or not, turn on your camera or not, and just talk about your business. And over time, people will find things that will be of interest to you because so many times we go to the op shops, we go to flea markets, whatever, and we'll see collection. Be like, oh, it'd be such a waste if I can't pick this up. I don't know how to sell it. And it's nice to just go, hey Justin, there's this collection here. Do you want it? And Justin will just give me his. And Justin will have his one question. And that's the thing. You need to have your one metric. Don't overcomplicate things. Don't think that other people cannot buy for you. Assume they know how to buy for you if your requirements are simple. Something like if it's $1 a card, I'll take it, or 5 cents a card. So how many cards are there? Someone, I think Rob at one point said to me, how many cards are there? I'll be like, this many cards. How much do they want for it? This much. Right. It's about 10 cents a card. I'm more used to paying 5 cents. Done. Right? Have your one thing. Don't expect the person buying for you to have to know which is the rare card or which is the rare, item of clothing or whatever. Sometimes Matilda will be at a rent-a rack and she'll be saying, oh, here, they've got baby clothes in today, big selection. What brands do you want? And I'll tell her this brand, this brand, this brand, this size to this size. Cool. And then the next thing is stains or no stains. No stains, take it. Stains, don't take it. So as long as you have a very simple criteria that you can communicate to someone, being in a community is great because then they can get the stuff for you. The number of times we're in the Hangout working and someone will be, well, mostly Jane, going into a thrift store and she'll be with a camera going, hey guys, do you see anything? and there was one day she went into the thrift store and we're looking for something, and she was like, there's a transformer here. And I go, no, it's missing an arm. Check the box to see if the arm is there, and the arm was there. I don't remember how much you paid. I remember was like $1 or $5, but essentially it was whatever. It was like a studio class Galvatron or something. I can't remember what else. Point being, it sells for like $100. So there you go. The wonders of doing things live, as opposed to posting it to Facebook saying, "Hey, is this worth anything?" and then waiting like a whole day and not getting a response. In a lot of groups that I sell in, I also buy a lot from those groups as well. See, a promoter of commerce. All right, last thing, Jody saying people are asking me about trading cards from Norway. The cards that I had were only released in Australia. Yep, geographical region, great place to source as well. So if you are looking to sell things in Australia, can you source it from overseas? That could be a very good margin for you to make here. And when you're looking on Terra Peak, you'll be surprised. A lot of stuff that sells really cheap in the US, once you bring it to Australia, triple, quadruple the price just because of its scarce. And if you're the person that breaks the bulk, which means, like I did with the jerseys, right? If someone wants to pay $40 for a jersey, but to get it shipped from the US to Australia, they get one jersey at like 50, you might be that person who buys a lot, gets it landed at $8 a jersey, and then you get to make a price. So you're essentially the distributor. So there is definitely merit there, and it's very much a reseller skill set too. Cool. I have to go and pick up the cars. This is all done. This stuff is due tomorrow anyways. So thank you for coming to this live. Thank you for being part of the community. Thank you for being part of our Discord. If you are in our Discord already, join us. If you haven't, it's free to join. I'm going to be doing these Wednesday lives every single week. So 11:30 to 1 o'clock. Come with questions, come with insights. Looking forward to doing this again with you guys next week. Bye.